Hey, welcome to the Richie Mortgage Team Real Estate Podcast, powered by the Velocity team at Click and Close. Hey, thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm really excited about our special guest, Irina Paul. She's a wonderful realtor out of the great state of Florida. She's got a very dynamic and interesting story about how she got into real estate. So, Irina, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us. And let's just get right into it. You and I've had a couple conversations about your background and how you got into real estate. Tell the audience, where you're from and how you got into real estate.
Thank you so much for having me, first of all. And
Absolutely.
yes, real estate journey has been very interesting. I'm coming from the hugest country in the world, which is Russia, territory-wise. So I came to United States to the hospitality business, and I've learned a lot about people, about communication, about patience, and just serving people's needs, right? So then I came across of an opportunity in 2009 to buy my own condominium for the first time, which was $9,000, believe it or not. It was a very small, tiny condo next to Millennium Mall, somewhere in that area,
Right.
with roaches big like this. It wasn't like the luxury place, but it
Yes.
was my first place. It was my own piece of real estate. And I thought that, the experience that I've had buying that unit was not the best. And I could learn from this and try to be a better real estate agent and serve other people's needs. Because I thought if I am working my tail off serving tables in one of the famous restaurants on International Drive and I can afford and I can make my dream come true, why not helping others to do the same? So that was my beginning, and afterwards, it was just one big journey, learning and going from fix and flip projects to Airbnb business to first time home buyers, investors, and just serving my community. And my niche is very simple. I serve a lot of people who are here in US and who have background or speaking Russian language. So I'm a bridge between American way of doing things and I guess Russian mentality. So I help community to become homeowners.
Yeah. Very nice. So you started off as an investor slash the American dream, you're owning a piece of property, and then you turned into a realtor based on your experience of buying that property. Uh, and I don't know if the audience caught it, but you were I get chuckled because you were so proud about your condo, and you were like, yeah, even though there was roaches running around everywhere, it was mine, and I was so
That was
proud.
my
Since then, I believe you said you've sold that property, and you've bought several others after that, right?
That's right. So that one was sold. Actually, I hold it. I hold it for a couple of years
Okay.
because it was my place where I used to live. And then I bought another one and I sold both of them. I believe you should not wait to buy real estate, but buy real estate and wait. I feel like maybe I was a little bit too excited to sell it quickly, but yes, I was able to make, I'd say, 4 times more what I
Okay.
paid it for, and
You
to
said
move
you
on
said
to other
you said four
projects.
four times more, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And so let's talk to the audience. So you and I have had this conversation, off air, on the phone, multitude of times. If someone was saying, okay, hey, Irina, I want to wait to buy real estate because the interest rates are high, and I think with this election that's coming out here in November, we're about 3 weeks out. What would you tell those folks? What would be your advice for those folks in regards to trying to educate them on their next home purchase?
I feel like everybody needs to sit down with a good team. A good team consists of a good real estate agent and a good mortgage broker just like you, who can sit down and write down step by step to what they need to do in order to get to their goals. Doesn't matter, guys. If you look back, it doesn't matter who's going to rule this country, Republican Party or Democrats. The prices for real estate were going up, with the exceptions of maybe 2 times in the history of American real estate market.
Right.
So why are you trying to reinvent the wheel, right? If you're scared of interest rates, let's talk and sit down and see what tools are there on the table for you in order to make it affordable, to make it achievable for you. There's so many tools, and not many people are talking about this. Don't be scared. Just take the first step, sit down, make this dream come true.
Right. That's awesome. That's tremendous advice. And so, I'm glad you brought up the whole. There's only been a couple of times in American history where real estate prices have gone down. Actually, there is actually 7 times in the last eight decades. So 7 years out of the last 80, real estate prices have declined. So the point is, like you said, why reinvent the wheel if you're trying to build, wealth, and you're trying to build generational wealth, and you're trying to put your family in a better situation, especially, if you're an immigrant coming from another country. That's probably one of the first things you want to do is buy a piece of real estate, because obviously, even if rates were 7.5 or 8%, that's still cheaper than renting, which the interest rate on that's 100%. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And I can tell you, I can add on to this that here we have so many tools to achieve wealth. 90% of people who are financially successful are doing this through real estate, okay? And all the tools in the United States are available for every single person who really wants to, try to become a homeowner. I'm coming from Russia. Our interest rates are 15 to 20% and has always been like this.
Oh, wow.
Nevertheless, people are still buying. So I don't know what's holding people back.
Yeah.
I truly believe it's right here, guys. Let's just make that plan, and move forward. If I was able to do it when I was 22 years old, you can
Wow.
do it.
22. Hey, I can tell you what I was doing at 22, and it wasn't buying real estate. See, you're wise beyond your years. So let's talk about, you have a very special place in your heart for people from Russia. And obviously it's, they people typically do business with people they trust, like, right. And you happen to be one of those individuals. What do you see the biggest hurdle is for Russian immigrants, or just immigrants in general, that are coming over here trying to buy real estate? What do you see the biggest challenges are, and what are you doing to help combat that?
I feel that it doesn't matter where the immigrant is coming from, it's the same problem. Let me wait, settle down, and then I'll think about buying real estate. Let me rent for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years, and maybe later on I'll buy. I had people coming from me to ask for the first home, to be purchased after they've been here for 20 plus years. So I think this is the biggest mistake. Don't wait to buy real estate. Just buy it and then wait. Easy.
It's interesting you say that, because when I first got out of college, I was in the financial services industry. And one of the things that one of my trainers taught me was, if you're trying to build financial wealth in any industry, it doesn't matter if you're trying to do it through investments, or you're trying to do it through real estate, or whatever the case may be, oil, whatever, gold, silver. Your biggest asset is time. So the sooner you can get in, and the sooner you can allow time to start working on your behalf, the more advantageous it's going to be to the consumer, or whatever you're trying to accomplish. And I know you talk about that all the time. So let me ask you this. You have a very bubbly and dynamic personality. You're very smiley, and you're very energetic. What is your superpower? So what do you think you do really well that helps you connect with your clients?
Wow, that's a great question. Sometimes it's not easy, to talk about yourself, but I think that people genuinely trust me because they know that I have their best interest in mind.
Mm.
That we become as one whole team during that transaction, whether it's a listing, whether it's buying their first home, or whatever it is. And I can say that my relationship continues with this family or that person after the transaction is closed. Like today, I'm gonna get someone popping into my house bringing me a bottle of wine just because I helped her to buy her first investment property, and I was helping her to rent it out, to communicate with the tenant, communicating to the insurance company when the time came in and they had an insurance claim. I feel it's just, more than a transaction to me, because I really believe in success when you are giving before you're receiving. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of like my formula for success. Give before you receive.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes back to the old adage of the famous sales trainer Zig Ziglar always says if you help people get what they want, then you will naturally get what you want out of it as well. And the commonality we've done hundreds of these podcasts, and the commonality between the successful agents or the most successful agents is they truly in their heart are helpers. They want to help people. They want to be answers, and they want to provide solutions, problem solvers, right? The
Definitely.
monetary aspect of things is way down the list. They really just want to help people because I know that's part of the reason why I like the mortgage business is because I like to try to educate and provide solutions and help people that didn't think that home ownership or investment ownership was possible to come up with those solutions so that they can better provide for their families and actually make their life easier. Is that similar the way is that your similar thought process?
Absolutely. We are problem solvers, and also we try to expand their horizons because sometimes customers do not even think that children in future will thank them for what they did today.
Right.
Just put them in that perspective so they know that they're doing more than just buying a house or investing into real estate. They're building a legacy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about this because you and I've also had this conversation. Obviously you cater towards the Russian community. But you're very active on social media. Can you talk about that and kind of how you got into that and what the pros and the cons are that you've seen, in the social media aspect? Because one of the things that we are starting to learn is obviously with Generation Z and the younger generation, if you're not involved in some type of social media marketing, you're going to miss out on that whole dynamic of customer base, right? And so talk to our viewers and say, kind of let them know in regards to the benefits and the pros and cons of social media marketing.
I think that social media is a must. You just need to find the format that you really like. As for me, I want my initial goal was to show how the fix and flip project really goes. From the moment the property is acquired, how it looks like, how many dumpsters of belongings were taken out of that house, what's inside of it, what kind of project and how much money we're actually spending on those projects. I do have investors, fix and flip type of investors who's been with me for over 8 years. And I wanted to show that kind of like HGTV style, but the true story of it, not like butterflies, and
Yeah.
roses, because it's a very difficult business. You gotta love it. You have to love it. Otherwise, you can't do it. It's not just the money, it's a lot coming from the heart. So that was my initial goal, and I thought it's going to be very easy. Guys, social media is not easy. It's like your second job. You have to do it because people need to know you. You cannot be a secret agent. You have to show your personality. You have to show what you do. You have to show what really moves you. What is it that you love? And so that was my first thing. It was April of 2020. The COVID hit,
Hmm.
and I was very, scared like everybody was, right? I thought maybe the real estate market will slow down, or, I'm going to be having a lot of time in my hands, which drives me crazy. I have to do something. So my friend and I decided to start the YouTube channel.
Okay.
So we did it in both languages at that time, English and Russian, which was very time consuming for me. So we focused on Russian at that time, and it really helped me to create a small community, a community of people who are like minded, very supportive people who are genuinely interested in real estate and in creating those tools for their kids so they can grow up also. I have families who bought their first home, their investment property, and then their 18-year-old, 19, 20, actually 20-year-old bought his first house. So that's how it all started. And then YouTube, it's a long format video that you can cut in small pieces and post onto Instagram or TikTok. Then Instagram came along, and I do have a social media team that actually helps me. But you are, and I am, for example, for my team, a heart of it, right? So I write the content plan. Sometimes they disagree with me. Sometimes, I get pushed because they want to hear things that are searchable on Google. So it's a process, but
Yeah.
every realtor has to have a social media. Like before, we used to have just a website, xyzrealty.com. Now you need to have a YouTube channel, and you need to have an Instagram, If you have enough power, you can do your TikTok and other things that are really, exciting, that are excited for you. But absolutely, it's a second job for every single real estate agent who wants to succeed.
Awesome. That's great advice. So you realize you're never going to retire now, because now that you're helping all these, the Russian community, and all and you're such a, helpful individual realtor after the transaction, that now what you're going to start seeing is kids and grandkids and great grandkids coming to you, wanting advice or buying properties. You realize that, right? You're setting you're setting yourself up
Yeah.
for never retiring.
It's hard to take a vacation, to be very honest with you. It's not easy.
Yeah. So, but you have a couple kiddos that maybe you can kind of steer them, and like, hey, do you want to do what mommy does one day? And I'm setting this up for you for the long term. So,
Yes, I do have a 5-year-old. Sometimes he's with me at the open houses, if it's suitable, if it's a vacant property, he's just like playing around in the backyard, or swinging somewhere. Yes, so he knows what the open house is. He helps me to install the signs. Um, but he's only interested in big houses, he said, like not small houses. So if it's a small house,
you're
he
training
may
him
not
well,
come.
mom. You're training him well. So let's talk about this. So you're an educator, you're a realtor, you're a mother, you're a social media influencer. What's next for Irina Paul? What's on your goal? What's on your horizon?
Well, I think on my our horizon is looking bright and beautiful. Maybe my next step would be creating a team now, because I'm still more or less of a solo agent. I do have a wonderful support team. I have a great transaction coordinator who is also a realtor who helps me. I do have great relationship with my social media team, videography team, but I feel like it's time to scale up, and that's probably going to be my next step.
Okay, awesome. And when do you anticipate, moving that plan forward? Is that going to be this year? Is it going to be early part of next year? Are you going to get through the holidays?
I actually started the process, so hopefully next year you'll see another agent or two next to me on my
Awesome.
next
That would be
podcast with
awesome.
you.
Awesome. Let me ask you this: if 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 someone came to you, and a newer agent, said, Irina, I admire what you've done. You've been wonderfully successful. I've been following you on YouTube and on your TikTok and Instagram, and I want to get into real estate. What kind of advice would you give someone like that was trying to, get into real estate now? And what advice would you have for them of, the old adage of, if I knew then what I know now, I'd be much better
Hmm.
off. What kind of words of wisdom would you provide to a newer agent?
I think the first question I would ask them questions first.
Okay.
My question would be, why is it that you want to get into real estate? What is your passion like? Why is it that you chose this profession? Because if somebody comes in and says, especially 2 years ago, I want to do this because I see it's easy money, then I don't know whether it's the right decision and the right place for this particular person, right? Um, or I see realtors driving expensive cars and shooting funny videos on Instagram and TikTok, and that's what I want to do, then I'm not sure. But if that person comes to me and say, "Hey, this is what I really wanted to do. I tried different jobs. I saved some money. This is what I really want to do as a career." My advice would be just show up every day, find your strong qualities. Maybe you're great at cold calling, then pick up the phone and make those phone calls nonstop. Maybe you're amazing at the open houses, do a combination of those. Start the Instagram. I think Instagram is much more affordable versus YouTube, just from my experience.
Uh-huh.
Um, and do it consistently. It's like, going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you won't see those results in a week, right? You will need to put some work and time into it. Real estate is probably the same as going to the gym. You show
Right.
up, you do your workout. Nobody's going to do your push ups for you. Nobody's going to do it. You have to do it yourself. You have to sweat. You have to make your mistakes. You have to learn. You have to get up, get stronger, and continue doing this. It's going to take you probably 2 years to get established. Just get ready for that. Maybe quicker if you're lucky. For some people, it's 10 years. I don't know. Like, I know people who's been doing this for longest time, but they were doing it part-time, and it took a while for them to get established. But something's gonna pin up soon. You're gonna find that. Like for me, it was fix and flip investors. Nobody wanted to work with them because they're difficult. They don't want to pay much money. They're not committed to one agent specifically. Like they want to work with many people and get the best options. So that was my start. And that's how I started and landed three huge investors. And that's how I got my listings. I was listing 20 to 30 homes a year, being a newbie. That's how I started. So just, and also find a mentor, find somebody you can shadow, that you can learn from. But don't just come out and, hey, I want to be your um, helper or assistant. Just offer something in exchange. For example, I would love to learn from you, but I can offer you, I don't know, open house assistance. Maybe you are great at editing small videos, something in exchange. And I think that's going to be the quickest way for you to grow and to get successful.
Man, that's tremendous advice. I heard you say something that speaks to my heart because obviously, even though I've been in the business a while, I still get coaching and mentoring. And one of the things that my coach constantly is hammering me about is consistency. So I think what I heard you say is you can't come in and be a realtor and just be an overnight success. You got to put the
True.
work in, day out, and be consistent with it, regardless of the motivation. You got to put a plan together and be consistent with that plan. Is that what I heard you say?
That's correct, yes. But I know we're gonna tweak that plan, on the way because you don't know yet what you're good at or what you're bad at. You're gonna try cold calling, you're gonna try this, you're gonna try that. Just don't give up. Don't expect results overnight, as you've mentioned. Yes, you have to have a plan. It could be fluid. You can change, the tools in your toolbox, but the goal remains the same, right? So you
Right.
need to get to the specific goal. It has to be measurable. You have to know, for example, how many deals you need to close in order to get to the specific goal. It's not something like, I just want to be a realtor. You want to be a realtor who closes, for example, 100,000 in commissions for the first year, which is easy. It's doable. It's not difficult if you do everything that you promise yourself to do. It's
Right.
between you and your commitment, pretty much.
Right. That's tremendous advice. That's tremendous advice. I agree with you. Yeah, it goes back to the adage of if you try to get 1% better each day and build off the previous day, then and can do it consistently, then you're going to be successful. If you don't, then hey, you're going to struggle. And so, well, that's tremendous advice. I appreciate you bringing that to everyone's attention. Um, obviously, I could sit here and talk real estate with you all day because you're just a pleasure to talk to. What did we talk? What should I have asked you that I didn't ask you? Is there anything that you wanna bring to the audience that we didn't already touch on?
I think all of your questions were amazing. I really appreciate your time. The only one thing I wanted to add, guys, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just,
Yes.
see how you were yesterday and how you are today or a year ago. And if you see a progress, then, you are succeeding.
Yes.
Don't compare yourself to anybody else.
That's
And find
awesome.
good people around you. Find a good lender that helps you, that actually supports you, invites you to podcasts, and helps your clients in the best way because you
Right.
need to have that team.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I've once heard that comparison is the thief of happiness. So
I agree with you 100%. Yes,
yes. So as long as you can get up every day and put your shoes on and try to get 1% better each day, I think that's going to be successful. The one thing that I would add to what you've already shared with us is if you get into real estate, because it's basically you eat what you kill, right? You're 100% commission. Make sure you got some reserves put away for at least 3 to 6 months so that you can continue to pay your bills, right? While,
absolutely.
while you're trying to build your business. So, well, hey, you've been tremendous. Like I said, I really appreciate your time coming on the podcast. If the folks out there were trying to buy real estate in Florida and they wanted to come and get a hold of Irina Paul, what's the best way to do that?
They can hit me up on a text message, Facebook, Instagram, email. whichever works better.
Yeah, and is that irinapaul.com or give us
There's
your website and all that.
irinapaul.com. My YouTube channel, Instagram is Real Estate with Irina Paul.
Okay.
It's just really easy. Or info@irinapaul.com. That's my email.
And there's this amazing thing out there called Google. If they just type in Irina Paul, really.
Oh, they can do that. Absolutely.
Well, awesome, Irina. You've been a pleasure. Folks, if you are trying to buy real estate in Florida at all, you're trying to be an investor in Florida, you're trying to go see Mickey and Minnie Mouse in Florida, look up Irina Paul. She's awesome. She's going to take care of you. And more importantly, she's not going to take care of you for one transaction. She's going to take care of for you as long as you live and as long as you need advice regarding real estate. So, Irina, thank you so much. Folks out there, the information that Irina gave you in regards to how to get a hold of her is going to be in the bottom thirds of this. And then if you ever want to, like or subscribe to our podcast, that'd be awesome. If there's any real estate advice or any mortgage advice that you need, you can go to the www.therichiemortgageteam.com, or you could always call me on my cell phone or text me on my cell phone, which is 972-679-1028. I'm very much like Irina. I just love helping folks and answering any questions that I can. So, Irina, I appreciate your time. Much continued success, and obviously, if there's anything that my team or I can do to help you and your clients, please reach out to us and let us know. Okay?
Thank you so much, Rich. I appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Richie Mortgage Team Real Estate Podcast, powered by the Velocity team at Click and Close. Goodbye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.